Hey YouTube, the Green Prepper here. We are back. We've been able to survive the pandemic. Didn't have to leave the house a bunch to go and get supplies because we were already prepared. And today we want to discuss something called the gray man. Now, when you are talking about the gray man, you are talking about somebody who blends in. You want to make sure that during any kind of pandemic, any kind of civil unrest or anything like that, that you blend in. All right. So if there's an EMP, there's a power outage, you don't want people seeing that you have power. You don't want to be super loud with a generator telling people that you have the ability to create power, right? So if you're going to be looking for something to power your house during an EMP or a power outage, you're going to want a battery bank, or you're going to want solar, or maybe like a rooftop wind turbine that blends into the roof. You don't want to stand out, and you don't want people to know that you are prepared. All right. So, if there is food scarcity, whether there is no food at the grocery stores or there's no power and people, all their food in the freezer and the refrigerator went bad and stuff like that. You don't want to be cooking 3-course meals over a fire or, barbecuing or anything like that, because people are going to be able to smell it for miles around, especially if they don't have food, if they don't have power, they're going to be able to smell it. So you want to think about sound. You don't want people to hear you, right? They're going to be able to smell your food. All right? So if you are cooking delicious, tasty food and people don't have food, they're going to come and they're going to follow their nose and they're going to be like, who's got food? I need it. I want it. Give it to me, right? So you can use things like solar cookers, where you're able to cook in a long glass tube outside where it doesn't produce smell, where you don't have fire, stuff like that. You can do like the sun ovens, where, it's going to be encapsulated and encased. You can cook with little sterno stoves inside the house that's not creating a bunch of smells. Or you can rehydrate dehydrated and freeze-dried foods, where you're just boiling some water, which you don't have smell, and then you pour it into whatever bag that you are eating. So that gives you the ability to mask that smell, and it's not projecting out to the masses that you have food, you have supplies, and they should come take it. All right? Same thing with power. If you do have power in your house, and it's dark outside, and you have lights, and nobody else has power, you're going to be a beacon to everyone else that says, I have power, I'm prepared, I have supplies. You don't want that. So if you're going to be powering up things in your house and you have power when nobody else doesn't, you either need to use all your power in like one room, keep it quiet, have blackout curtains so that you're not projecting light out into the neighborhood, telling people that you have supplies. And you definitely want to keep it under wraps. You want to keep it muted. You don't want to project that you have what others don't, right? Now, tying back in with the auditory senses, make sure you try to minimize sounds like coins in the pockets, squeaky shoes, loud keychains, anything really to draw attention to yourselves, or having headphones with loud music, or one of those little portable speakers that is playing the music that you like. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. That is number one. All right. And then you want to make sure that you beware of potential trouble. So you want to make sure that you are scanning your surroundings, see anything that might be happening, over here. Try to stay away from situations where things are getting elevated, things are getting heated, people are starting to get riled up. You want to stay away from those situations, but don't be overtly like looking around, making it obvious that you are checking out your surroundings, because also if you're doing things other than what other people are doing, you're going to stand out. So don't be like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? You don't want to do that. You want to stay calm. And you want to stay aware of your surroundings. So you always want to make sure that you monitor your emotions. You don't want to be laughing out loud. You don't want to be looking super angry. You just want to have a very, poker face on, just like, You're not happy, you're not sad, you're not mad, because you don't want someone to be able to see your face and be triggered by whatever they see, whether it's happy, sad, angry, mad, frustrated, so you definitely want to make sure that you monitor your emotions. And when you're moving through crowds, if all of the crowd is going one way and you need to go the other way, don't go super like opposite. So like if people are going this way and you want to go the opposite way, don't go like that, because then you're going to be standing out. Try to, go through in a diagonal stance where it looks like, you're just edging your way through, as opposed to just completely going against what the crowd is doing, because you're going to stand out. You're going to pop out and say, hey, this guy's different. Why is he not going this way and everyone else is, And you want to be able to make sure that you can get off the grid. So if you need to leave your cell phone, leave your smart electronics like your smartwatch, your tablet, stuff like that, because those items are tracked several different ways by, the GPS, by the apps themselves, by the cell towers pinging. So if you need to be gray and you need to kind of like fade in to everything around you, be willing and able to get off the grid and leave those cell phones and smart electronics behind. Now, one thing that's very important, though, is to make sure that you always keep a thumb drive of all your important documents. So if an EMP happens and everything gets shattered, you have a backup of that. If your house burns down, or you are, some reason far away from the house, so like all the planes are not flying. So like when the pandemic happened, or when 9/11 happened, they stopped doing all of the planes and they turned off, flying for a while, right? And so if you're stuck and you're stranded, you have backup information in that thumb drive with all your important documents, your driver's license, your passport, your birth certificate, deeds to your house, wills, for your family, living wills, living trusts, stuff like that, family and friend contact info. Think about it like this. If your phone dies, you drop your phone, you lose your phone, EMP happens and the phone no longer works, you have that backup data just in case, right? So you have that backup data just in case. You could also have this stuff like a photocopy of everything, your driver's license, passport, birth certificate, deeds, your contact information. You could have that in like a Ziploc bag, inside like a to-go bag, or like a man pouch, or whatever you want to do. Even one of those little tins where you're able to keep a bunch of little things inside. Being able to have this information when needed, just in case, super, super important, especially if you're getting rid of or leaving your electronic devices. And if you want to maintain your daily gray man status, you don't want to tell anybody about your preps. You don't want to say, I've got tons and tons of toilet paper and tons of sanitizer and food and cash reserves and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to tell people about your preps, because the first thing they're going to say is, if something bad happens, I'm coming to your house. Or when something bad does happen, they're thinking, I remember he said he's got all this stuff, so he's probably got enough for me. And when they come to be able to take advantage of that stuff, or to be able to use that stuff that they know you have, and you turn them away, they're going to be angry, they're going to be mad, they're going to want to take it, or they're going to tell other people about it. All right? Also, you don't want to tell people your plans, where you're planning on going, what you're planning on doing, whether you're going to bug in or bug out. You don't want to tell people your plans, because you want to just blend into the background. You just want to not be anybody who stands out, right? So you don't want people knowing what, where, when, why, and how of what you're going to be doing. You also don't want to share the trigger things that people jump on either side for. Like, you don't want to share your political views. You don't want to share your religious views. You don't want to share your financial status. I got $1 million. I'm super rich. I'm super wealthy. I love this political party or that political party. I'm this religion or that religion, because that creates enemies. That creates people on opposite sides. You just want to blend in. That's it. You don't want to do anything else but blend in, observe, get intel, and find out what your next best move is. Another thing is, in everyday life, All right. Whether you are, in the country or you're in, a bad neighborhood or you're in the suburbs, you don't want to project what you have inside of your car. So you see people that have big stickers of like guns on their car and I carry and they'll have like prepper flags and stuff like that. If you're being a gray man, you don't want people to know. You want to blend in, right? So you don't want to tell them you have guns and stuff like that in your car because that is a target that says, hey, if I'm not in my car, come steal my stuff, right? Same thing with like people who have like speakers or speaker labels on their car or stuff like that. It's saying, hey, I probably have a good system in my car. Why don't you come break into my car and steal it? Or like if you're getting pulled over by cops and you got like, paraphernalia symbols on the side of your car, like, the leaves of what you like to smoke on the side of your car, it's more likely that the police are going to search your car if they see stuff like that, right? You always want to stay under wraps and hidden. Same thing with clothing. When you are wearing clothing, you want to try to blend into whatever scenario you are going to be in. If you are in a vacation spot, you probably want to be wearing like swim shorts and a t-shirt. If you're going to be in a business sector, you probably want to wear a suit. You want to fit into wherever you're going to be. Like you don't want to be in the middle of a summer with a bright yellow hoodie on when it's 110 degrees outside. One, people don't wear hoodies when it's hot. Two, you don't want to have bright colors that project like, hey, pay attention to me. You want to have colors that blend into the area, blend into the culture, blend into your surroundings and the time of year it is. All right. So whether that means hoodies because it's cold in like a gray, a white, tan, a cream, nothing that jumps out and says, look at me, right? And if you are going to be in certain areas, you want to make sure that you have your preparedness things with you. If you have the ability, you always want to carry a little bit extra cash with you. You want to carry a little bit extra medicine with you, extra pair of keys or extra pair of food and drink, something like that. If you have the ability to carry it with you, but it's not standing out saying, hey, I've got stuff, come take it from me, you always find the ability to be prepared. Right? And that's what it's all about. Being prepared, but not standing out. Same thing is like if a natural disaster or a pandemic happens and, everybody's out asking like, oh, when are we going to get help? When are we going to be able to find gas? When is the government going to come help? You want to be there and you want to ask those same questions. You want to seem like you're as desperate as everyone else. Right? If everyone's outside and they're asking questions and they're trying to find out how they're going to get food and all that kind of stuff, get your intel, right? Don't be in the middle of the crowd, but you want to make sure that you look like everyone else. You're as desperate as everyone else. You're wearing the same kind of clothes. Now, one thing that is really important is say like there's a pandemic or an epidemic or something's going on in the world and nobody has power, nobody has running water. You don't want to be the one that is completely clean and completely clean clothes and all that kind of stuff. If everyone looks dirty and you're going to go out amongst the masses, you need to look dirty. You don't want to be freshly shaven if everyone's growing a beard. You don't want to be wearing, perfume and cologne if everyone's dirty and they haven't taken a shower and they're not wearing that stuff. You don't want to wear that. Even your shampoo or body wash, if it has an overt smell to it and nobody else is washing, you don't want to stand out because if people aren't able to smell other scents and they start smelling you, they're going to be like, hey, why is he clean? Why does he smell fresh? You want to make sure that whatever your surroundings, you blend in. And that's the important thing. You don't want to stand out. You don't want to jump and say, look at me, give me attention. Same thing is if something's going on, natural disaster or, civil unrest, stuff like that. You don't want to be out there with your phone recording all the information and what's happening and stuff like that. Because, yeah, you might be able to get some views from it or something like that. But if you are standing out and nobody else is doing that, you are going to draw attention to yourself. And whenever something happens, you never want to draw attention to yourself. And that's all the senses, sight, hearing, smell, you don't want any of that to stand out. All right. Hopefully this was helpful information. If it was, smack that thumbs up. Comment down below how you think there are other ways that you could be a gray man and not stand out. And I look forward to hearing your commentary. We'll talk to you later and look forward to some future videos coming out on the Green Prepper.